our team, our community. This is Condors Town, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
It's always interesting connecting with Ryan Holt here as we once again have our road trip going on. What's up? My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3 in a lovely hotel, because we can tell by that lampshade behind you. You're definitely in a hotel. Up in Stockton is my brother from another mother, Ryan Holt. I almost called you Ryan Stockton. Jeez. Renaming you right now. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I think there's crown molding here too, which is
Ooh.
nice. It's a decorated room, so it's nice.
That's an extra $2 a night for that ground molding right there.
Put out of somebody's pocket.
So once again, we talk about the Condors, we talk about the Oilers, and of course, this is kind of the big week. You know, we talked about last time. Trade week comes up, or trade deadline comes up, and it always like this big hoo-ha. I mean, we're talking the sports channels up in Canada. Literally, it's like a war zone or election night coverage. But usually it's kind of a fizzle kind of day. But anyways, a trade deadline coming up on Monday. Let's talk about it right away. What are you seeing up there? What do you think Ken Holland's going to be doing up there in the frozen north?
Well, the first, I guess trade this week was, Josh Manson going from Anaheim to Colorado. They've had some injuries in Colorado, and obviously they're a team that, is built for the Stanley Cup, not just the playoffs, but built to win the Cup. So. They wanted to go out and make a move. And Josh, of course, is the son of former Condors assistant coach, now Oilers, assistant coach Dave Manson. So that's kind of the first trade. And, I think for Edmonton, there's only so much you can do. There's a salary cap, and, the Oilers are up against the salary cap. And, I think anytime you're at that point, it's, what they say, dollars in, dollars out. So if you're making trades, you can't just acquire assets and not be able to give up anything. You're going to have to give up actual dollars, or and by dollars, I mean contracts that, are currently on the team. So, I think I'm not sure that Edmonton's had a full team, or what they think is a full team, for the better part of the Jay Woodcroft era. Cassian's been hurt. Puljujarvi got hurt. Nugent Hopkins been out. So, there's three of your top seven forwards that haven't been in the lineup. I think they'd like to add a defenseman on the right side potentially, but those are hard to come by. And I think everybody is looking for the exact same thing, and that's a defenseman to kind of be a depth guy, and maybe some goaltending help as well. But I think for teams that have those assets, it's beneficial for them, because much like the housing market, when supply is limited, you tend to get a little overpayment. So. Like you said, I think it's more fizzle than anything. Will there be some moves potentially? What happens and how it affects the Condors, we'll find out next week.
So when you're thinking maybe has some targets on them possibly around the league that could be coming to Edmonton?
Yeah, it's tough. Like I mentioned, because you look at and I think we were just talking with Hampus Lindholm and Anaheim, and a defenseman that's out. That name is out there, and some other defensemen and Ben Sherratt, but these guys make money. They make $4 million, $2 million here and there, and to bring those type of players in, and you're at the salary cap, and next year you have to sign Puljujarvi, Yamamoto. Well, that all doesn't really mix, So you have to find dollars somewhere, and I think the worst thing you can do is take on a contract with term, meaning a guy who has a couple of years left, and not be able to, either get out of that contract, or, for a rental, it's a high price to pay for a rental for a couple months. But when you're the Oilers, when you're the Avalanche, when you're teams that, have said, this is, make or break, this is, we're going for it. We're in the playoffs. We're going for a cup. You have to, do all you can to bolster your team that way.
I mean, you got to see it right now. I mean, they're third in the Pacific, right on that crux right there. I mean, you got Surge in Calgary and L.A., which came out of nowhere up there, and it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah, they're not going away.
Exactly. It's like make or break. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, there's a lot to watch. I mean, they won the last two, which is always nice. They did have kind of a rough skid there, but they seem to be riding the ship a little bit. What do you see moving forward that maybe in the system that they need to maybe shore up a little?
Yeah, they won a big game over Tampa. So anytime you beat the two-time Cup champs, that's a feather in your cap. And now this week is an interesting week because last week you would have said, with Tampa coming in, it's a tough games. It's going to be a tough week, and the Oilers actually got through it pretty well. And now this week you look at it, you get Detroit, you get Jersey, you got Buffalo. Those are three of the top or bottom, 6, 7 teams in the league right now. So, but over the course of this year, the Oilers have typically performed well against teams that are at the top of the league and have typically kind of dripped a little bit against teams that are at the bottom of the league. So big week for them. They need these points. These are games that if you're a serious contender, you're a team that has to go out and win these games here this week. So big week for them to hopefully shore up some things here this week and make a final push here with I think there's only a handful of games left.
It's going to be interesting to see. By the way, I do see a lot of people joining us in the room right now live. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to pop those in the chat. We do have access to all that, so do that. Let's go and jump to the local talk because let's be honest, it was a couple rough games that we just had, but I know you're always seeing some bright, shiny silver linings there. What were you seeing those last two games with San Diego and Stockton?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and you go back to Ontario last week when the team had a 2-0 lead over the Reign and just weren't able to close it out against Ontario. Well, you look at even strength, and that's kind of, I think, a hallmark of a good team is how do you play 5-on-5? Because, 80%, 85% of all games are going to be played even strength. So, what do you look at there? And even with this team, going on a 3-game skid for the first time this year. So this is something that hasn't happened yet this season. The team only gave up one even strength goal against Ontario last week. They gave up 2 on Friday against San Diego and 1 last night against Stockton. So, you look at that and you go, well, that's 4 even strength goals in 3 games. Usually win those games. You usually find a way to – you don't go 0-3 when you only give up 4 goals in 3 games. On the flip side, the offense has gone dry a little bit. That's to be expected. I think some guys were overperforming the last couple of weeks. Some guys were playing some minutes that they hadn't normally played. And let's be honest, some guys that have been on some heaters over the last couple of weeks have gone cold, and that needs to change. The good news is Dylan Holloway, our first round pick, has 7 goals this year. He's got 3 goals in his last 4 games. He's starting to heat up, and some guys are going to have to carry the mail here for the final 19 games as we press on and try and lock up home ice.
Of course, we talked about Stockton, where you are in a lovely crown molding type hotel room right now.
I turned up my AC for you too, so you could hear me.
Man, that's how we just got that.
It only goes to 68, though. You can't put it below 68. Can't go below 68 up here.
Yes, in Stockton, go figure. So tomorrow night, taking on Stockton once again, up in Stockton. What are you seeing for that game? I mean, Stockton's been one of those teams that are just a little tear in the league this whole season.
They're the best team in the league for my money, and they're the team that you're going to have to beat in the postseason if you're going to have any sort of aspirations to get into the Western Conference Finals and getting out of the West and into the Calder Cup. They're the team that I think is built for the playoffs. They have enough offense. They've got a solid back defensive core. They've got good goaltending. I'm not sure if it's elite goaltending. Kind of wait and see for when these games pick up. Dustin Wolf is very good. He leads the league in wins. He's got a top goals against average. I think the team in front of him is very good, which I think has helped him. But that said, he's a good goaltender, and he outdueled Stuart Skinner last night. So it should be another good one tomorrow. I'd expect more of the same. Low scoring type of game. That's how the Condors are going to have to beat Stockton. They don't want to get in the track meet with the Heat. Stockton can put 7 up on you as quickly as they can, shut you out as well too on a Wednesday night. So should be another low scoring game, but another 1-goal game. And let's face it, the Condors probably need 2 out of 3 this weekend to keep pace with Colorado and Abbotsford. Abbotsford comes to town on Saturday. That's a huge game moving forward. And that best of 3 series in that first round, if it's on the road, you're going on the road for 3 games, to Colorado or to Abbotsford. You want to slide yourself into the top 4, make sure you're there so that they have to come to you for 3 games for that first round.
Let's go and talk about after taking on Stockton. You guys are coming back home. Big night for Potterheads, which I know you're a huge Potterhead.
Huge one.
Yeah. Every single book, every single movie.
Owl,
We got
lightning. I got a
Wizard.
scar on my face. Yeah, it's
You got a scarf. Which house are you in? Let's just break it down. But
Gryffindor. What
it
is it?
is.
Ravenclaw. I got them all. I know them all. I've researched immensely.
So that's going down on Saturday night. What's the details behind that?
Yeah, a lot of cool things happening. We've got specialty jerseys. We've got the golden ticket up right now. So I know everyone's trying to get their hands. If you were there last week on Star Wars jerseys, and we raised over $30,000 with our jersey auction for our foundation. So that's hats off to everyone. But if you don't have a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 in a lot of cases for some of the game worn player jerseys, we've got a Potter 7 jersey up on our golden ticket, and that's just $30. We only sell 100 of them, so you have a 1 in 100 chance of winning a Potter 7. It's a game issued jersey. It won't be worn on the ice, but it's a game issued jersey, and you can win that on Saturday. You don't have to be at the game, but you're going to want to be there. We'll draw the name at the game as well too. We've got some jerseys going live on Saturday. We've got some silent auction jerseys for some character jerseys as well too. We've got owls. We've got all sorts of creatures from Calm coming. We've got a magician coming, and pretty cool as well too. Devin Brosseau's girlfriend, one of our players, his girlfriend is Savannah Harmon, who's a member of the U.S. Olympic women's hockey team. They won the silver medal recently over in Beijing. So she's actually making her way out to Condors Town this week. She'll be on hand with her medal, jersey for autographs, pictures. She'll wind the siren as well too. So looking forward to having her out at the game.
It's going to be a blast. Of course, people want tickets, and of course, they are going to want tickets. How did they get hooked up?
Yeah, best way to do it is the Wizard Pack. We've got 4 tickets and 2 Wizard Wands. We'll have Wizard Wand for sale at the game, but if you don't have tickets or if you're not a Condors member and you want to come to the game, you're going to want to get the Wizard Pack because it's going to save you money and you're going to get to come to some more games as well too. So 4 tickets and 2 wands on sale at BakersfieldCondors.com.
Go check that out. It's going to be a good time. Of course, we'll be checking in once again next week, Ryan. You and I. We'll see if you're in Truxton or if you found.
No, I'll be home. We're home for a little bit after this week.
Well, maybe you're going to have to put some crown molding in your office there, so we can make it a fancified a little bit.
I'm remodeling. I'm taking ideas from Stockton. Can I bring this lampshade back?
The lampshade you've seen in every single hotel you've ever stayed in your entire life is behind Ryan right now. Ryan, always appreciate the time, and we'll check in next week, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
It's been another edition of your Energy Condors Connection with Energy 95.3.